Okay, so here's a real quick setup of solving your problem. Try Lexus, right? So what you were asking for was how do I make sure that these elements in this menu don't jump around as you change resolution in your screen? And I'll show you. There's a load of different ways of doing this. It's like internally in our team, Lance, the programmer, and Mr. T, me, the designer, had like different approaches to this. We ended up going with a mix where we like primary uses his method because it was better, and then for us, and then we use my method for the details, right? So let's set this one up so that it actually scales as well, right? So I have our gameplay menu. The canvas, you can see, is set to screen space overlay and then scale with screen size. You can experiment with that, but that's what I find the best, right? So typically we will have like a root object in the canvas. So let me just add an image here. Right, so this could be the background, right? So this is the menu background. So let's just rename it that. And what you probably did was something like this, right? So you added it here, and now we have a menu background. Now, I put the game view down here solely for the purpose of being able to actually change between different resolutions. And you will see that the moment I do this, go to 4:3, it kind of changes and it doesn't cover the top and the bottom. And then what you probably could do would be something like this, so that it's, as soon as you go to this one, it just goes outside. Now, the problem here is that the problem you have is that you want it to scale. So what you can do is you set these anchor transformed like anchor points. What are they called? They are called anchor presets, anchors, right? So you set these anchors, one in that corner, one in that corner, and then you set that one here, and then you edit these to just say 0, 0, 0. And there's a bug in Unity, so sometimes it won't zero it out. It'll just write a very small number. So you have to do that. And I tend to like to do something like this, because, tidy. But now you have it set to stretch. It's automatically set that it will stretch this way and then custom this way. What you noticed here was that you can see that you can set percentages. So now it's using percentages of the screen instead of, relatives. So it's absolute 30% every time. So if I change to this aspect, you see it changes its width because the width of the screen changes. But it maintains like it stays there. So now, typically what I will do is I won't have a menu like this. I'll disable the image, and then because otherwise it becomes difficult if you want to work with images. Like there's so many cases where this is the best, right? So what we do right now is we set up this one. We do the same. We make it follow the hierarchy. So we make it follow the menu background. We set up that image, and then we set it to stretch. And you see now it's kind of strange. So we make it follow. And you see that it's like this. And then we set it to 15 because that's how we like it. All right, so now we kind of have the menu background. Let's add the button. And for the button, we do the same thing, right? So if you set it here, and there's some problem in my project, I don't know how to fix this, but for some reason the button kind of actually, let me just use instead I'll delete this one, and then I'll just do a button positive, because that's how we roll. We have these presets, and then when we want to change one button, we just change this prefab, and then everything goes there, right? So we go in here, we change the text, we say main menu, save. This is what you have. We change it so that it follows this one, and then we want to set some padding, maybe 10, 10, 10, 10, right? So we have, it's right here, right? But so here's the problem you have, right? We want to change it, we do it to old, it moves, right? We set it to 1610, it also moves, right? So what you could do was move it down here, and then, but then this happens, right? We then go to ultra wide, and it's outside of the screen. So we really want to avoid this. So how do we deal with that? Well, we use the same technique as when we put in the menu background. We put this one up here, and then we use the anchors, right? So we set 12% from this edge, and then we do 12% from this edge as well. And then we make, yeah, I tidy up. I don't have OCD. Sometimes it might look like I have, though. All right, so here you see. So now, if I change it, the size will change with it, right? Now you have a different problem, and you can deal with that with saying, well, we only want to transform this way, or we want to, set the points. Let me just, we can do something like this if we want to maintain its size. I screwed up a little bit, right? So we want the button to maintain the size. So here's a way that you can do that. So instead of doing that, you kind of say, well, I want it to follow the bottom here, and then we do like this. I think this should work, right? Now it's following this one, and it won't go below. This is a theory. I actually never did this, but it seems to be working, right? So now you know that this will always be at the bottom. You could also just have set it at the bottom like this, and then it will, but then you can no longer zero it out, right? So, but it will still work. You see, kind of changes size, but it stays and maintains the dimensions that it's supposed to have, right? So this is how you work with these kind of things. One thing to mention is never touch scale. I just have it a rule. I don't touch it, and that's like my life is easier and better because I don't. You can. I'm not. I'm not the boss, but I'm just saying it's a world of pain down here. Because then it scales relative to each other, and if you want to have a big hierarchy and all of that stuff, all of a sudden it just becomes a mess. All right, thank you for watching. I hope this was useful.